It begins not with a bang, but with a quiet, unsettling hum of silence. The phone, once a constant chorus of notifications and familiar names, now rests dark and still on the table. The weekend plans, once filled with the comfortable chaos of friendships, stretch into an expanse of open, unclaimed time. You find yourself scrolling through old messages, a digital archaeologist digging through the ruins of conversations that once felt so alive, so permanent. There was no grand fight, no dramatic exit, no final slamming door. A gradual drifting away, like ships receding from the shore at dusk. And in the silence, a question echoes, a question that can shake the very foundation of your being. What did I do wrong? The universe, in its infinite and often mysterious wisdom, is here to deliver your answer. And the answer is as profound as it is simple. You did nothing wrong. A tick. You did everything right. Inked. This painful, confusing period of detachment is not a punishment. It is your graduation ceremony. It is the universe, in a radical act of love, clearing the path for the magnificent destiny you are only just beginning to step into. To understand why your world is shrinking, you must first understand the alchemy that has been taking place within you. For months, perhaps even years, you have been engaged in the sacred work of transformation. You have been turning the lead of your past traumas, your heartbreaks, and your disappointments into the shimmering gold of wisdom and strength. Every book you read, every tear you shed, every time you chose forgiveness over bitterness, every moment you sat with your pain instead of running from it. These were all acts of profound spiritual alchemy. This process has fundamentally changed you at a cellular, energetic level. Your soul now resonates at a different frequency. Think of it like a musical instrument. You spent your whole life tuned to a certain key, a key of survival, of people-pleasing, of playing small to fit in. You attracted other instruments tuned to that same key, and together you played the familiar, sometimes melancholic, song of your old life. But through your inner work, you have retuned your strings. You have discovered your own unique, authentic note. It is a higher, clearer, more resonant frequency. And now, when you play your song, the old instruments can no longer harmonize with you. The sound is dissonant, uncomfortable. It is not their fault, nor is it yours. It is simply the physics of energy. You have changed your music, and so the orchestra around you must also change. The universe, as the great conductor, is now gently ushering the old players off the stage to make room for those who can play in beautiful harmony with the new, magnificent song of you. The people who are now drifting away are not villains in your story. They were essential characters in a previous chapter, a chapter that has now concluded. See them not as losses, but as teachers whose assignments are now complete. They were ghosts of a timeline you have worked so hard to transcend. There was the friend of your wounds, the one with whom you shared a bond forged in mutual complaint and shared misery. Your conversations circled around what was wrong with the world, with your lives. This bond, while comforting in its familiarity, was an anchor to a victim mentality. As you began to speak of hope, of possibilities, of gratitude, the very foundation of that friendship began to crumble. They couldn't connect with your light because their primary connection was to your shadows. Their departure is a sign that you are no longer willing to live in the narrative of what is broken. There was the lover of your potential, the partner who fell in love with the idea of who you could be, but was terrified of who you were becoming. They were comfortable as long as your power was a dormant seed. But as your wings began to grow, as you began to speak your truth and chase your dreams, their own insecurities were triggered. To them, your growth felt like a threat. Their departure is a sign that you are no longer willing to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You are choosing your own expansion over their comfort. There was the gatekeeper of the past, often a family member or an old friend who held a fixed image of who you are. They knew the old you and were deeply invested in keeping you in that box. Every time you changed, they would remind you of your past mistakes, of who you used to be, subtly pulling you back into the old identity. They're drifting away, while perhaps the most painful is the most liberating. It is the universe freeing you from the prison of others' perceptions, allowing you to define yourself on your own terms. Their roles were vital. They were the friction that polished you, but you have been polished. To hold on to them now would be an act of self-betrayal. It would be like a butterfly trying to crawl back into its chrysalis. The departure of these souls will inevitably leave a void. This emptiness can feel terrifying. The silence can be deafening. You might be tempted to rush to fill this space with new distractions, new people, anything to avoid the feeling of being alone. But your future self is begging you, don't. This is not an empty void. It is a sacred vacuum. It is a holy space, a fallow ground that the divine gardener is preparing for a new and wondrous harvest. The universe has lovingly cleared the soil of your life, removing the rocks and weeds. Now, it asks you to simply be still, to let the ground breathe. This period of solitude is one of the most precious gifts you will ever receive on your journey. This is your time to solidify your new self. It is a period of integration where you learn to stand tall in your new energy without the influence or reflection of others. It is in this sacred quiet that your own inner voice, your intuition, grows from a whisper to a clear, confident guide. You are learning to be your own best friend, your own wisest counsel, your own greatest love. You are building a foundation of self-reliance so strong that no future storm can shake it. Do not mistake this solitude for loneliness. Loneliness is a feeling of lack. This sacred solitude is a state of fullness, of deep connection with your soul and with the universe itself. Embrace it. Meditate, journal, walk in nature. Discover what truly brings you joy when no one else is watching. This is the final stage of your alchemical transformation, where you learn to love and validate the golden being you have become. The sacred vacuum will not remain empty forever. As you become more rooted in your authentic self, the universe will begin to send in your new tribe. These connections will feel profoundly different from the ones you've lost. There will be no need to pretend, to perform, or to edit your thoughts. You will feel an immediate sense of ease, of recognition, as if you are meeting an old friend from a distant star. These new souls are not drawn to your past wounds. They are drawn to your present light. They will celebrate your growth, champion your dreams, and challenge you to become even more of who you truly are. Conversations will flow effortlessly, centered around growth, possibilities, creativity, and joy. You will feel seen, heard, and understood on a soul level. These are not connections of convenience or shared trauma. They are connections of energetic alignment. You will find them in the most unexpected places, brought to you by the gentle hand of synchronicity. This is the promise that makes the pain of letting go worthwhile. You are not destined to walk alone. You are simply being moved into the room where the people who speak your soul-ass language are waiting for you. So, if you are in this sacred, silent space right now, take a deep breath. Release the guilt. Release the confusion. Release the need to understand it all with your logical mind. Instead, place your hand on your heart and offer a silent, grateful farewell to those who have played their part and exited the stage. Thank them for the lessons. Thank them for the memories. Thank them for helping you become the person you are today. Releasing them with love is the final act of healing. And then turn your face towards the future with an open and trusting heart. The clearing is complete. The stage is set. The greatest, most aligned, and most joyful chapter of your life is about to begin. The universe did not abandon you. It rearranged the entire world for you. Let them go, and prepare to say hello to the incredible souls who are on their way to you right now.